Hey y'all, it's your host Tori Kruse. Welcome to Talk Y'all to Me, your red carpet insider, your friend behind the mic, and the girl behind the scenes connecting fans, artists, and stories that matter. Most of all, a lover of real, honest conversations. Here on Talk Y'all to Me, we pull back the curtain with country artists, industry insiders, faith-forward creators, and everyday leaders, talking about what it really takes to show up, lead with heart, and stay true to you. So whether you're figuring it out, think you've already got it figured out, or if you're just here to learn from the best and keep a pulse on the country scene, this is your spot. So lean in, turn it up, and let's talk, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to Talk Y'all to Me. I'm Tori Kruse, and I'm sitting next to a 5-time Grammy award-winning music producer and mixer. Y'all, he's worked with some of the biggest names in country music that you've probably heard of. Kenny Chesney, Dierks Bentley, Miranda Lambert, maybe Carrie Underwood, just to name a few. Y'all, we're going to peel back the curtain today, and we're going to hear what it takes to make this music what it is before you hear it on the radio and everywhere, in concerts, before it hits our ears. So without further ado, Reid Shippen, welcome to Talk Y'all to Me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited we're here. We're sitting in your studio. Like, how cool is this?
Well, I see it every day, so less cool for me.
Well, I just got a tour, and that was pretty awesome. Yeah. But Reid, I want to hear, where did your start in music come from?
Oh man, when I was a kid, I sang and did choir at church and handbells and did some musical theater and stuff like that. But I was never really super into music. My family was kind of on the music as a hobby, not a job kind of deal. So started doing that, but didn't get serious about it until I got down here. I actually went to school for like electrical engineering and business, and then I decided that sucked. And so I ended up in Middle Tennessee, going to a school that had recording studios because I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, so you're originally from Jersey.
Jersey, yeah. And
then you made it down here to Nashville. When did you bridge that gap between music being a hobby to then your career?
It depends on what you mean by bridge that gap. I mean, like gainfully employed or, when my parents were, I think probably the second Grammy, they were like, hey, this is kind of serious, isn't it? So, that helped.
How many years did it take before you got your first Grammy?
I have no idea. We'd have to look it up.
Well, what the heck? Where's the bio here? You're not a bio guy.
I don't know if you've seen it, but like on a lot of my places where it says bio, it just says, I hate bios.
Yeah, it did. That's why I brought it up. I saw that clear as day. So then you went to school, and then when you started playing, started mixing music, what was the very first thing you started to do in the music industry?
Well, back then, the path was intern and then assistant engineer. Did that for a couple of years, and then you get a chance to start like recording and mixing. I fell into mixing actually pretty early, and then it just kind of stuck. Did you have an internship with anybody who's still in the business today? I interned all over the place, like back in the day. And so this was like early mid-90s. There were a bunch of recording studios in Nashville, right? And everyone was making records in the recording studio. So I, bounced around and worked in a bunch of different studios.
Man, so you've been in the music world for a little bit of time.
For a minute, yeah.
For a minute. I won't ask you how many years, because then that goes back to the bio situation.
I just said early to mid 90s.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
People can do the math.
Yeah, exactly. And so now you've worked with a ton of artists. Mm-hmm. And so, but I really want to peel back the curtain for the people.
Okay.
And, let's say, Kenny Chesney walks through the door, he has a song. Can you walk us through what it takes in order to get that song to the ears of the listeners?
Sure. Well, so Kenny, particularly, in fact, he walked through the door a couple days ago because we're finishing his new record or records. They'll pick songs for him, or he'll write with people. They'll go in the studio and record with live studio musicians, like everybody kind of playing. Mm-hmm. Add some stuff, fix some stuff. He'll go in and sing vocals, and then they bring it all over to me. So I get all of the pieces, drums and bass and guitars and like all of the individual pieces, and then I play Tetris with them and put them together until you hear what comes out of the radio or comes out of your streaming. That's my job.
Interesting. And like, how long is that process?
It depends. It depends on how big the song is and stuff like that. But I'll mix it in, 5 hours or so, and then send it out and people listen and give me comments back. And then Kenny particularly is very hands-on. He likes to come in and like, so he'll text me and be like, hey, can you meet me in the morning? And we'll come in and just mess with it for, 45 minutes and then he'll split. We'll do that a couple of times.
So are some songs more difficult to work with than others?
Sure. I mean, you never know what you're going to get where what I'm doing, like it could be a nightmare or it could be totally easy. The players in Nashville are so amazingly good that, they make it look easy. They make it sound easy. So that's great. But you just never know until you open it up and press play.
What's the difference between one of those songs that are like, all right, this one's going to be super easy, it's already like almost there, compared to, well, this might be a little bit more challenging?
Sometimes you press play and everything just kind of feels like it fits together, and sometimes not. Sometimes the slower songs or the ballads are harder because there's space, there's no place to hide stuff. Like you have to be very particular. And then a lot of times it depends on the artist, right? Some artists are way more particular than others.
And do you typically work with a lot of artists who are just, album after album?
Yeah, I mean, the usual artist cycle is they make a record, then they go on tour, right? And then however longer, 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, they'll start thinking about making another record. And
then they're back.
And then they're back at the grind.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. What's your favorite part about what you do?
I like that it's different every day. But my favorite part about it is that you're taking something that somebody really cares about. Like my opinion about whether it's a good song or a bad song or a good performance or whatever, it doesn't really matter to the artist. Like it's their baby. It's really tight, like to their chest. Like they love it. So I like the part where I get to come in and try and make it feel right and try and make the artist love it. Cause I listen to a record, like 10 days, they're going to listen to it for the rest of their lives. Right. So it's just more about how it feels to them and making them comfortable and hopefully making them confident.
Mm-hmm. What are those feelings that you look for in songs where you can really pull those out and highlight them?
It's in every song usually. And that again, depends on the artist. But for me, my job is more about emotion than it is about technical stuff. I mean, we all have songs that are our favorites, and do they sound good? Who cares? Really, right? It has to feel good. Like it's exciting and, it draws you in, and then maybe the chorus just like uplifts and stuff like that. And that's trying to preserve that is the challenge in my opinion. Mm-hmm.
And preserving that sound and that feeling is that what really keeps you going every single day?
Yeah, because it's always a challenge. It's always something new, and I disappear into it. It's kind of my flow state.
Mm-hmm. All right. Speaking of something new, what's coming up the pipeline that you're really excited about?
Well, I don't know. I will. I'll just get stuff, right? Like I just did some stuff with an artist, which I don't know if they're ready to talk about yet, but you get a call and they're like, hey, can you do a couple of these songs? Mm-hmm. I jump around genre wise. Like I ended up in the studio with Neo, who is doing something that's leaning a little bit more country. Uh-huh. And the guys who are producing it are these unbelievably great songwriter producers that come from, stuff that's more R&B and gospel and stuff like that. And so right now we're working on an R&B record that has flavors of like Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and whatnot.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite genre to play or to work with?
I mean, my favorite is good songs.
Yeah.
Right. I've been really fortunate that I get to jump around to all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, I do stuff for Disney. I do rock stuff, or I've done R&B stuff. I did a ton of Christian stuff back in the day. That's how I got going. I do a ton of country stuff. I don't really have a favorite genre.
All right. Give us your favorite story, like the craziest. You said there's some crazy things. Gosh. Give us one of your craziest stories. I'm not allowed to talk about most of those. NDAs.
Yeah. No. It never gets that. It never gets that serious. Nashville. One of the nice things about Nashville is people here are chill.
Yeah.
Right. Like the first time I met Keith Urban was in line at Starbucks, right? And a really good friend of mine had played drums with him for a long time. So I turned around and made some crack about how much his drummer sucks. And, you know, and we've ended up working together since, but it's that doesn't happen in LA, as you know, like, you know.
Wait, hold on. How did you say it?
LA.
That's what we were looking
It's pronounced
for.
LA. You know, TMZ's around, like, artists got to be careful where they go. People like bug them in Nashville. Everyone's kind of chill.
Yeah.
All that being said, I totally forgot the question.
You know, I did too, but I'm over here sitting, I'm thinking about like the difference between LA and Nashville, and then, but Nashville being so chill. I mean, I didn't even tell you this part. I told you about the 10 other cities that I lived in. Yeah. But I did live here super brief. And it just like, Nashville just felt like this small town. It's such a small town. And everybody was so welcoming. Yeah. And I just, there's this charm to it, and there's a special, feel like God's really blessed this city, and there's so many talented people who come here. Is there anybody, you've worked with so many different people, is there anybody who you haven't worked with that you would love to work with?
I mean, so many. Man, that's a great question. I think it would be really fun to work with a guy like Stevie Wonder, right? Like someone who's an icon. I've done a record that Stevie was on, but I haven't directly worked with him. I'm a huge fan of James Taylor from way back, and I get to meet him one day, but I've never been able to work with him. Like, that would be cool. Yeah. I don't know. I love meeting new people, and there's always, what's nice about music is there's always somebody new and cool, right? That, like, especially the ones who are coming in and doing new stuff and pushing the envelope. Great example was Lainey Wilson. Like, doing her first record, she was like, who is this person? And now she's Lainey Wilson.
Lainey Wilson. A lot of people say I look like Lainey Wilson, and every single day I will take that.
Yeah, no kidding. You get good tables at restaurants.
Yeah, like, I mean, if they actually thought I was her, that would be, but.
Well, just make a reservation for L. Wilson and show up and see what happens.
Should I?
Yeah, why not?
Just roll in?
Yeah.
Here in Nashville, you think
you're going to have to wear a cowboy hat or something.
Yes. Well, the wide brim.
Yeah, the wide brim.
The wide brim hat and roll up. Yeah. I'll give it a whirl and I'll report back.
Give it a shot.
You know what? I remembered the question.
Yeah, what's a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this boils down to, who are we going to throw under the bus? I've probably told this one before, so I'll tell it again. So we were working on one of Dierks' records.
I knew you were going to say
Dierks. Want this one?
No, but I just had a feeling you were going to say Dierks.
So Dierks is awesome, and like he's a super great guy, and funny as hell. And there's probably a ton of stories, but one in particular that I remember was, we were working on the record. We were working on Drunk on a Plane, right?
Yep.
And I distinctly remember Dierks sitting on this couch, his facing the other way, and saying, "Man, I don't know if I want to put this song on the record. It's kind of." It's kind of light, or like maybe it's a little bit cheesy, or I don't know. And Ross, the producer, and I were just like, "You're fucking crazy if you don't put this song on the record. Like, this song is a hit.
Yeah.
It's a
banger. Yeah.
Yes. Like, it was just duh.
Yes.
Like, that song was killer." And we kind of got into a little bit of a friendly shouting match. Like, it's not usual for people to call an artist like, "You're an idiot if you don't put this song on the record." Right. So it turns out he put the song on the record, and that turned out to be a good idea, because that song was a massive hit. I still love it. I think it's just a fantastic song.
Oh, it's phenomenal, and it's so relatable. Yeah. I mean, that's why it's so great too, and just like the tune to. I mean, yeah, it's a banger.
Yeah, and it's very Dierks. Like, I like to say that he's like the Dave Grohl of country music, where he's a very serious musician. He has all of this talent. He can make these really deep deep records, right? And then he can make fun of himself and it totally works, right? Like you totally believe him.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, quick pause for something important. If you're connecting with this conversation, you will love my new book, Unexpected. It's filled with the stories, lessons, and mindset shifts that help me grow through some of the toughest and, quite frankly, most unexpected seasons of my life. My hope is that it inspires you to keep going, even when the path doesn't look the way you imagined. You can get your copy now at torikruse.com. Now, let's jump back into the episode. Every day when you wake up, what do you look forward to the most about your job?
Coffee.
Really?
Yeah, and then after coffee, then music.
Okay, coffee, music, and then what comes after that?
I mean, I like the novelty, right? It's easy to sit here and be confident about this, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. But honestly, this job can be really nerve-wracking. Like, I really care. So it hurts me, like, when people don't like it. Yeah. Right. And it shouldn't. And as I've done this more and more, you start to realize, like, I mean, we can sit here and talk about imposter syndrome probably for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah. Maybe 4.
But, I really want it to be great. I really try hard, but I'm making thousands of subjective decisions based on other subjective decisions. So you never know. So you send something out and you just hope they like it. And when they like it, it's great. And when they don't like it, you're bummed out. Yeah. Right. And it's, it's not, what I've realized, what I've taught myself, what I tell my kids is I know now that when I send something out, it's not bad. Yeah. It's good, but it may not be what they like. Right. Right. So part of the discipline is trying to communicate ahead of time to find out where their head's at, because a lot of times you can do this or you can do that. And I would rather not guess. I would rather guide it. But also, when I come in here, I got to do what I feel. So I'll move stuff around. I'll rearrange parts of the record, like, and I'll just tell people, like, this just came to me, I just do what I feel. If you don't like it, no problem. Just undo and we're there. Okay. So on those days where you don't feel as confident, or I'm sure there are fewer these days because you've had so many reps and that creates the confidence too. But on those days where there's a little doubt that creeps in, or insecurity, not even insecurity, but do you ever have imposter syndrome anymore? Everybody does. Yep. I actually don't. We used to talk about this a lot. I actually don't think imposter syndrome exists. I think it's just part of the human condition. Yeah. Right. Unless you're a sociopath, like you always wonder. I mean, I've worked with massive stars who are still nervous about, are people going to like this? Like, they say you're only as good as your last hit record, right? So is this going to be a hit record, or how are people going to think about this, or, how's this going to be received, or, and it's like, that fear is totally natural, right? That's the, when there's a hot pot on the stove, right? Your body says, don't touch that. That's going to hurt. When you're doing something that you don't know about, it's the great unknown, like your body's fearful of it automatically. It's like, I don't know if this is going to work. The trick with that is to just power through it and say, I'm doing the best I can, the most I can. I don't know. Let's find out. My very good friend and co-founder of Once said he worked at Apple for 10 years, and he said the 2 most important things that he learned, hands down, were 2 things: assume positive intent, and the phrase, I don't know, let's find out. And that applies to music too, right? If somebody comes in with criticism, don't assume that they don't like you. Don't assume that they think you suck. Assume positive intent. It took me a long time. I would send stuff out and people would come back with, well, here's what I want to change. And that would kind of bum me out until I realized, like, they're assuming, like, this is good. Obviously, we called you. We like your work. Like, this is good. Here's the stuff I want to tweak. Yeah. So that's assuming positive intent. That's so good. Do you think when you had that mindset shift, it really transformed your career? Yeah, well, I mean, it transformed the amount of anxiety I carried around with me every day, which improved my life, which I think improved my career. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's really good. I was actually just doing a Bible study yesterday, and I was just talking about how God is always preparing you in these steps. You might have adversity, or you might have challenges, or imposter syndrome, lack of confidence. I think the imposter syndrome is more just, I mean, it's good. It's a healthy fear when you're still nervous
about, is somebody going to like this? Because it means you care,
Yeah.
And I feel like even when you hit challenges, what I was sharing yesterday on the Bible study, just like you have to push through, and like God's been preparing you this whole time to get to this place. And if he believed in you that much, then believe and trust in him enough to be able to put one foot in front of the other and just take that action, take the leap, and be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good way to look at it. And music's very personal when you're writing something, and especially when you're singing. Right? Well, does insecurity work its way into pageants at all?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All the time.
Because the judgment, it's very similar. Like, you're being judged on your appearance when you're in a beauty pageant. That's brutal because you can't do much about that. Like, that's what came naturally. When you're singing, there can be a ton of insecurity because like if someone doesn't like it, that's like you. That's a part of you. It's not like, well, I painted this or I cooked this and somebody doesn't like it. It's like, well, that's just food, right? That's just a painting. But like, your voice is you. And
you are your brand.
Yeah.
And so it's a very personal thing, and you're being in, just like artists too, it's just you're being judged on your performance, the way you look, they're being judged on not just their voice, not just their songs, but people are looking at their performance, the way they move, the way they act, every single.
And now everyone's a critic, and then you can go online and read it. So I mean, the best advice that I've found on that is you'll stop worrying what other people think about you when you realize how seldom they do. Right.
That's so good.
You can be self-conscious. You're walking down the street. You're like, do my clothes look cool, or like whatever. There's all these people looking at me. No one's looking at you. They're not noticing you at all. Right. Well, maybe they're noticing you.
Wait, so you're saying when I was like, now my pants are in this video,
well, I mean,
right?
if your pants are off, then people might notice if you're walking down the street.
Right. But, I just want to make sure the gold buttons were,
Yeah, no, I mean, those are great. But you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like you're nervous, or you want the attention, and by and large, if you think about it, are you paying attention to what everyone else is wearing? No, not really. So, it's you kind of have to let that go. And
it takes the pressure off yourself.
It does. And I feel for artists because especially now, you can put something out and all of a sudden hundreds of thousands, millions of opinions from people who, and you read them and you get down. Like I know artists who get bummed out because they're reading their reviews.
Do you recommend that they would read their reviews though? I mean,
you can't stop it. Everybody wants to look. Yeah.
Which is, most of the time it's just somebody sitting at home and, on their couch, just typing away, saying something, and it has nothing relevant. I always go by saying if nobody, for most of the time, I won't say nobody, but when somebody is further along than you in their journey of life or their career, or like they will not hate on the person who's just starting because they were there one time.
Yeah, that
right. So anybody who's further along is not going to ever to judge you or hate on you because of that. So yeah, no, this is good because there's so much that like gets in your mind with, especially, even doing anything on camera, doing anything in the public spotlight and in work. So have you ever had any moment where, somebody you've seen hate or criticism on one of your songs and you're like, dang, that kind of stung, or you're just like, nope, it went out, we're good.
There are forums and stuff for like audio engineers and whatnot. I haven't been on those in a million years. I don't find them useful.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people shouting into the abyss. I dumped Facebook like a decade ago.
Oh, really?
Because I realized it was me just activating my nervous system for literally no reason. Mm-hmm. None.
Yeah. Speaking of nervous system, how'd your nervous system feel when you won a Grammy?
It was pretty cool. So for me personally, I don't really care about awards. Like at this point, it's 12 Grammy award winning projects that I've been involved in, and I've never been to the award shows. Like I don't do it for awards. What you have to think about is like they're accolades from your peers, right? And that's cool, right? That's really nice. But again, the way I see it is like they're not my Grammys; they're the artists' Grammys. Like this is their expression, this is their effort. Like we're just helping.
Yeah.
Right. So Grammys are nice. Like, you know, it impresses your parents. It looks good on a resume. People tend to bring a little more trust when you've done, you know, a dozen Grammy award-winning records than when you've done 0. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a person putting their pants on one leg at a time.
It's so true. I mean, if 2020 didn't teach all of us that, I don't know
kidding.
what else did.
Totally.
But congratulations.
Thanks.
I know you kind of downplay it a little bit, but it's still a really incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And I'm just glad that your parents know that you have a job now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that it's working.
Day to day, you know, you never know. That's what we like to joke, that the music business is snack or famine.
Yeah.
So you never know. And that's another pressure. Like a lot of us, players, producers, engineers, you know, you're unemployed every day, right? You don't know where stuff is coming from, and you hope it keeps coming, and over a very long term. And this is true of a lot of my friends that I've talked to about this. Is like, you're always worried that someone's going to be like, oh wait, this person sucks. Like,
yeah,
you know, and your career is going to be over, which is the imposter syndrome thing kicking back in.
Isn't that crazy that just still kicks in after years of even putting out incredible work? It's just, there's always that other force that's coming at us that you have to constantly just fight off.
And that's why I say this is just part of who humans are.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And like I said before too, it's just the passion, you know, it's like, it's a good thing you care. It would be a bad thing if that didn't pop up, because that means there's no heartbeat behind your work.
Yeah. I feel like I would quit. Like, I mean, it's when you just show up and it's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, blah, 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 like, and it gets to be boring. That just sucks, because again, music's about touching the emotions and not just making widgets.
Thanks for tuning in to Talk Y'all to Me. If this episode encouraged you or reminded you of your calling, share it with someone who needs that same reminder today. Hit the follow button to subscribe so you don't miss what's next, and come hang out with me on social at official Tori Kruse. Keep shining, stay faithful, and keep talking, y'all.